Hey everybody, it's Michael Seiler from GotchaRocks.com, and today I'm working on cutting a few worry stones. So this is a worry stone here, and it's got a little divot in the back. So I'm starting with, and these are made of jade. So I have different pieces. I've kind of cut out these blanks. This was from a slab, so I just did the general shape that kind of matches the back of this. So made it just slightly bigger, and I'm going to just show you how to kind of do the angles and just kind of rough out one of these. If you haven't worked with jade before, it's extremely hard, so it's going to take a little while. So what I'll do is I'll film kind of each little section, and you can just watch me do it for a little while, and then we'll just move to the next one. The last one that I did took me quite a while, but it turned out very nice. So this is the, the kind of the pattern on it, so it looks pretty cool, I think. So anyway, let's get to it, and I'll just kind of walk you through what I'm doing. It's going to be really loud, so I'm going to put on ear protection, and if I have to do like a voiceover, well, then I'll be doing a voiceover. All right, let's do this. So this is an old Loratone grinding machine, and I don't remember exactly what it was. It might have been one of their beaver units. I'm going to take these off because it's giving me a weird thing in my head. So this is actually the very first machine that I ever bought, and I've been keeping it going by spraying liquid plastic in here and just keeping it going. And then I've got a bucket of water that feeds it. So this is really pretty rigged up. I have Cab Kings as well that I use, but I'm nostalgic. I like this, and so that's what this is. I have two diamond wheels on it. This is like an 80 grit, and then one that's kind of worn out, and it's probably a 400 grit. And then I have an expandable drum that I have a 400 grit paper like this, sanding paper on there. So that's what I'm going to use to rough this out. So we're going to start here and work our way this way. All right, so now I'm putting these on. Now let's do it. I did my first cut around this, so I just ground around the edge here. And what I'm going for is a 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to keep working this around. I'll show you this in a second, but I want to have kind of a 45-degree angle going towards the center from here. So let me show you there. So you can see the angle right here. This angle needs to go basically from the center all the way down here, so we get a nice kind of round shape. But I'll just keep doing these angle cuts all the way around until I work it down to this line, which takes a while. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, here's where I'm at right now. I've cut that angle, so we've kind of got, we're just going to call it like a 45-degree angle. And the next thing I'm going to do is this is the top is still flat, so I'm still working my way towards the center, and I'm going to take this angle, basically another 45 going towards the center. And I'm just going to keep doing this until it turns into our dome like this. So I've got quite a bit to remove, but this gives you kind of an idea. So I'll show you the next step once I take this rim off. I've finished doing my second cut, and it's starting to look pretty round. If you want to come over here, take a look. So it's starting to look like a dome instead of kind of cube shaped. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm actually going to grind across the top and start really rounding this out, and then bringing the top of this stone down a little bit. I'm shooting for about 8.5 millimeters with this. I think we're at a little over 10, so I've got about 2 millimeters to grind off the top, which takes a little while. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We'll get a shot of that, and you can watch just kind of how I do that. Cut this piece of jade down to the point where it's about 9 millimeters now, so we started at about 10.5 or so. So I'm going to leave it at 9, and then we're going to move to the next wheel. So let me show you where I'm at right now. So here we are. This is the piece of jade. Let me put a little water on here. You can see that you know, it's pretty coarse cuts right now, and this is all going to smooth out. And you see this actually, this jade looks a little bit lighter than what's going to happen once we polish it. Once we polish it, it actually gets a little bit darker, which is nice. So, you know, we have the general shape here, and we're going to move to this wheel right here, which is the second wheel. This originally was probably a 220 wheel. It's worn down, so I mean, it might be anywhere between 220 and a 400. So I wish I could give you something a little more specific, but going from this 80 grit to the 220/400 seems to work pretty well, and that's just going to remove all this coarse little patterns on this, and it'll become very smooth. And after that, I'll move on to the expandable drum. I've finished part part 2 here, and so we've finished on this this kind of worn out 220 wheel. Now we're going to move over to our expandable drum, and if you're not familiar with these pieces of sandpaper are little donuts like this, and they actually just slide right onto this plastic drum, or actually rubber drum. So you just kind of slide it on like that, and then you're ready to go. And the water hits this, and this is a 400 grit. So this is where we're at right now, and you can see that it's a lot smoother than what it was. And this expandable drum is going to allow me to put a little bit of pressure on it, and it'll kind of round out any of the flat spots. So we'll get that nice smooth consistency all the way around it, like the outside of an egg or something like that. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I just wanted to point this out so that when I was kind of pointing at things on the stone when I was doing the sanding, there were certain spots as I was going through that the sanding wheel hadn't hit, and so I just wanted you to kind of notice how the color changed between after it hit this and before. So you could see that it was kind of a lighter color before. I'm finished with the last wheel here. And I just wanted to point out a couple things. If you had more wheels, like if you went from 80 grit to the 220 to a 280 to a 600 to a 1200 to a 3000, you would probably be able to move through these steps a little bit faster. But I just wanted to show you with kind of a really old machine, 3 wheels, that you can take something that was just like this, big blank, and turn it into this. So our last step right now is going to be polishing this. And here's a good little tip. I used to try polishing jade with cerium oxide, and what I found after watching some knife makers is that you can actually use a metal polish on this, and I use ZAM, and that actually works much better on jade. The only caveat that I'll point out is that you don't want to overheat the jade. If you do, it will get something called orange peeling, and it'll just cover the whole thing. So it'll just look like the outside of an orange. So I just kind of hit it with the wheel a little bit, and I'll show you when I do that. And then I cool it down with a glass of water. So I just kind of dip it in, polish, dip it back into the water. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's go to the polishing room. Here we are in the polishing room. This is the polishing machine that we use to polish like a silver and gold and platinum and things like that. So I just have one of our old cotton wheels, and I'm using this. It's a ZAM, and I have some of it that I've been using for a while here. I also have a glass of water, and this is for dipping the stone. And I'm not trying to get everything soaked like we were in the other room. I'm just trying to keep the temperature down as I polish. So let's polish. So here we are with the finished piece. I'll probably do one more polish on this. I still have to cut the little divot in the back, and I'll use that with using one of our Dremels. So, but I just wanted to show you, how to cut jade and polish it up. So, you can always go a little bit further with it. It looks like I have a couple little spots I want to address, but other than that, this looks pretty good, and hopefully this helps you out. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for my next videos. Well, that's about it. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below, and that's about it. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.